Hi guys! In today's video, I'm going to be doing Halloween inspired slime tutorials and I really hope that you enjoy it. So first up we had a tutorial that I knew could either go really well or really badly, and it actually turned out alright. So we're going to be making a clay carved pumpkin, and the way to start off with this is just to get a small bowl. I used a Pyrex 0.5 litre bowl and I just put my clay all around it until it was fully covered. And then after I did that, I just left it for about 5 minutes just so the clay hardened a bit, and then I started to cut my shapes into the clay. For the eyes, I just did 2 equilateral triangles, and then I did a backwards triangle, and then for the smile I just did lots of jagged edges. And then after this I just went in with some acrylic paint and put it onto my slime. And as you can see, you don't have to do like an acrylic paint, it can be any type of paint. This is just the paint I had lying around, and then I just kind of left it on the bowl, and I should have left it for so much longer because as you can see it fell apart because I didn't leave it for 12 hours, but as long as you leave it for a while and let it harden, it will stay up. So I started to make the pumpkin insides next, and this was one of my favorite things to do because as you can see, this was so fun to mix. I just added a bit of orange and green, which sounds kind of like a weird thing, but as you can see, it creates this kind of autumnal browny orange, and it's really fun to play with. And as you can see, the top actually turned out really well because I let this one dry, but the under part didn't, so it just kind of turned into a sad pumpkin. Next up we have one of the prettiest slimes I think I've ever made, and this is inspired by trick-or-treating because my favourite thing about Halloween is definitely the sweets, so I decided to make this clear based slime. And as you can see, the only ingredient I actually add is clear glue. I wanted to use a weak activator just so the clear slime cleared up a bit quicker, which is why it's so clear in the next clip. This literally took 2 days. And I also used glitters and confetti from Kawaii Slime Company, and then these charms are just like sweet candy charms. I think they're called resin charms off eBay. Creepy Cauldron was definitely one of my favourite to make just because it was really easy, but it looks so cool because of all the extra add-ins. So we start off with some clear glue, and I actually added 4 bottles, and then I added some food colouring. This is just basic green. As you can see, it turns into a really nice vibrant colour, and then I had to over-activate this. And if you're wondering why I over-activated this, it's just because I can't make jiggly slime in the normal way for some reason. If I add water in before it activates it, it just never works and it turns super stringy. So I always have to activate it before and then add in loads of water and then just let it sit. And then I added in loads and loads of extras. So I added in some cosmetic eyes that people use for makeup. I used some plastic bugs, and I also used some typical googly eyes. We actually don't have candy corn here in the UK, so the first time I ever tried it is when I started to do slime because people from America started sending it, and people always do Halloween slime surrounding it, so I thought I'd do one too. And this is really simple. I literally just add glue and some food dye. As you can see, these are really nice bright colours. I added loads, and the key ingredient to layering this is just letting it sit. So I added the orange, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then I added the other one so it creates this straight line because it naturally settles. And then I pushed it into some Daiso clay, and this just meant the white part wasn't slime, it was Daiso, and this was so fun to mix in, and it was a really unusual concept. I haven't seen this done around too much. I know some slime shops do it, but I thought this was so fun, and it held the colours in so well. Another slime I really enjoyed making was vampire blood because I got such a good colour. I was so impressed with myself. So the first thing I did was just create the normal clear glue base that I've showed you a couple of times in this video, and then I added loads and loads of red dye and 3 drops of green. And if you're wondering why green and red make brown, so if you add a tiny bit then it kind of makes this maroon colour, and as you can see this is such a deep colour and so realistic. The next tutorial is a clay brain tutorial, and instead of making this gross, I decided to make this really colourful and rainbow-like, and I decided to start off with a really thick base because we're going to be adding clay to this, and I love my slimes being really thick, so I just added glue and cornstarch, and then I mixed in my favourite clay at the moment, and this is Crazy Art Model-Lite, and I get mine off Etsy, I think it is, and this is just so smooth. It colours the slime so nicely, and I just think it's the perfect clay in my opinion, and as you can see the colours are so vibrant, so I just started to kind of mix them all in, make them quite thick I would recommend, because my issue was that I left them kind of soft like how you would want to play with them, but if they're thick then they'll hold the shape really well and also won't fall at all once you've taken it out of the mold. Whereas this, it was really nice for like a couple of minutes, but then I left it and then I started to film, so it didn't look amazing. But as you can see the colours look really great when they're all packed in, and the tip here is just to let it sit for a bit and then you peel it off, and as you can see it peels off quite nicely. But if you have different textures of slime, so some are more sticky then some are going to stick and it's just going to mess the whole thing up, so I recommend doing it and then filming it straight away if you do this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry about my throat. I also have a really bad cold at the moment, but I wanted to get this video up. I hope you have an amazing Halloween, and I will see you very soon.